as you know, I have 3 children. All of them were rowers. I was a
Mhm.
rower in high school. Did anyone ever talk about the importance of stretching or breathing or getting in tune with your body? No, you're just a machine and you're supposed to pull on a stick, as my husband calls it,
Yeah.
get the boat to moving faster. But you watch my girls stretch and they're like, every ache and pain.
Mm,
And the breath is so powerful. It's not just powerful for the athlete, it's powerful for stress management, it's
mhm.
powerful for sleep, it's powerful for digestion. And most of our listeners, Ed, are women over 40. So they're not the athletes that, like my younger kids, but they're just trying to hold on. They've got hormones that are out of whack. We've got the spike protein that has inhibited our lung function. It has inhibited our heart health. It's brought more depression and anxiety. I mean, this season is full of stress, and people are having a hard time even just breathing, and they feel that shallow breath. So I want to start with just the basics of breathing, understanding the mechanics of respiration.
Yeah, so we were all born nasal breathers. Once we come out of our mother, our nostrils are cleared of mucus, phlegm, and fat, and the DNA of our body is designed for us to breathe through our nostrils 99% of the time. And when we're not, and we have a cold or our sinuses are clogged, or we're hunting, getting food, or not becoming food, then mouth breathing is appropriate to trigger the sympathetic nerve receptors at the top of our lungs and trigger the HPA axis in our brain for us to take emergency procedures that sometimes life requires. But we are living in a modern world where we're pretty much pretty safe. We can get our food at the store. Every animal on earth is breathing through its nose its entire life, unless it's hunting or being hunted. The cheetah, the fastest animal on earth, runs 80 miles an hour breathing through its nose. It has a huge open airway. And we have the same potential if we choose to take a little look inside and see what our respiration is bringing to us. So, step one is folks being aware that body alignment, body posture plays a huge role in and kind of the how we move oxygen and alkalinity through the soles of our feet to the crown of our head. The primary muscle of inhale is something called your thoracic diaphragm muscle, and it kind of mediates pressure between the chest cage and the abdominal region of the body. And when we inhale through the nose, some amazing things happen with this diaphragm muscle. It vertically presses down towards the pelvic floor and straightens our spine and gives us really great posture. And the brain and the learning centers of the brain, the executive centers of the brain, love seeing a straight spine. So, strengthening this muscle's ability to press down and straighten the spine gives us great alignment anatomy. Step two is as this diaphragm presses down, it stimulates this enteric nervous system, which is a smaller branch of our autonomic nervous system, where 90% of our serotonin and 50% of our dopamine is being made. So, as we strengthen this muscle pressing down, we're massaging this minor nervous system, which is so needed in 2024 in regard to emotional self resiliency, it's emotional self awareness, and then controlling the mind. So the mind doesn't control us based on who we were 20 years ago. So as we draw this air down and we push this energy down, we get grounded in our legs, we're strong in our hips, and we begin to stimulate the lower lobes of our lungs. And the lower lobes of our lungs are very, very special places. They're a physiology which is so important to both the micro and the macro of survival of the species. All the nerve endings here in the lower lobes of the lungs are filled with parasympathetic, oxygen rich, hemoglobin rich nerve endings. And hemoglobin is what oxygen binds to and can circulate through our body freely and keep us young and produce longevity. So, just getting that diaphragm to go down and activate a straight spine, the enteric nervous system, the lower lobes of the lungs, and now you set in motion this other part of inhale, which is kind of like this north, south, east, and west contraction of our intercostals. And we want these intercostal muscles, these thin sheaths of muscles that are in between our ribs. We want them to become strong. And we want our ribs to become flexible. We want to get that swimmer's V, but we want to get it from the inside out because our lungs are amazing, super amazing, but they're tissue, they're not muscle. So if you have weak inspiratory muscles and your ribs are rigid like steel beams, your lungs aren't going to have the strength for you to have the potential energy you're going to need to be neuroplastic in your brain to evolve your skill sets and update your software. So getting the inhale under control, get it down low and slow. And we think about the four organs of the upper abdomen, the liver, gallbladder, stomach, spleen, a lot of cancer in this area. And this can be back to shallow chest breathing or mouth breathing. You're not massaging and nurturing these organs the way they need to be to keep our digestion, elimination, and assimilation in a perfect clockwise cycle filled with rhythm as we go through our day. And we know the inhale is sympathetic in its offering. So it has a slight spike to our heart rate. There's a slight spike of adrenaline to it. And this is designed for arousal. So there's a relaxed arousal as we approach the opportunity of how we're going to perceive the present moment and take action. So if you can slow down your inhale just slightly and feel the details of the muscles you're using to produce this inspiratory moment in yourself, you can push back against the sympathetic switches and allow it to be relaxing and parasympathetic.
Wow. I don't know about any of you, but I literally am like listening to my body as I'm breathing. I just found myself sitting up straighter, feeling more grounded just as you're talking. It's amazing that we take this so for granted.